ground and it go off. Yeah, hit the ground and it go off. Yeah, yeah, run it. Ooh, I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year. Yeah.
We are live. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to the morning show here on Stock Market TV. I'm Spencer Israel with JC Parets. We've got Steve Strazza. We've got Alfonso. Open up charts for us backstage. We got a few good guests today. Andrew O'Connell from Pristine Capital will join us at 9. Ian Culley, head of FIC at All-Star Charts at 9:30. And in between then, we're going to do what we do. Talking about charts, talking about maybe a little bit of sentiment, maybe a little bit of earnings, maybe a little bit of seasonality. I don't know. We'll figure it out. You know what to do. Hit that like button for me, please. And let's roll my intro.
All right. Mr. Strazza. So I don't know if I mentioned to you, but my front door neighbor owns a local gym.
Yeah, you did.
I tell you. So she comes over for Halloween the other day. She's like, when are we going to get a workout in? I'm like, oh, whenever you want. I'm like, how's next Thursday? She's like, oh, next Thursday is great.
Right.
I do lowers. That's what she says. I do lowers on Thursday.
What does that
So
mean?
I was like, oh, here we go.
How'd you do?
Dude, honestly, I haven't been doing leg workouts. I haven't been squatting. I haven't been doing even lunges. Nothing. But I've been running hills like a beast. And let me tell you, I did pretty well. I mean, granted, she's a girl, but she's training for like a weightlifting competition. And I kept my own. I mean, she was deadlifting more than me. But other than that, I was leg pressing the same as her. I was pretty impressed with myself, not going to lie.
So you're going to do this again? Is this going to be a regular thing or?
Dude, it's 5 minutes from my house. She's a G. Like once a week to make sure that I'm getting some kind of lift in, I see no reason not to.
Are you using the weights in your basement yet?
Yes, but I haven't been squatting and I haven't been doing deadlifts, but
you don't have everything, right?
Huh?
You don't have everything down there.
Oh, I can do all of those things. I just don't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I've been mostly bench press and curls for the girls and the occasional shoulders.
Okay.
All
right.
Anyway, so just wanted to throw out the cheat code, guys. If anybody's listening out there, I grew up in Miami. I lived in New York City for a million years, all flat. Everybody's telling me you do hills, right? Everybody always says that. But I actually live on top of a hill now. I have for the last 3.5 years. So I run hills consistently. Let me tell you, it's all true. And then some. It's the cheat code of life, running hills.
Well,
I'm telling you.
I can't control where I live. Where I live is pretty flat, somewhat flat, but where I run is flat, and most importantly, so I can't control that.
It's true. Find a way. I'm telling you guys. All along, I was always told to run hills. Now that I actually am telling you, there's something. It's crazy.
You go on. They have those new treadmills. Not even the steppers, but that.
Those aren't new, Strazza. They've had that for.
I'm not a treadmill guy. I'm not really a treadmill person.
I was like, they got this new thing with these treadmills.
It goes up. I don't know.
It's called incline. Yeah.
Do that, then, Spencer, if you're interested, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
anyway, just wanted to share that with you guys. Total cheat code. Swear. Unbelievable. Run hills. I'm telling you.
Did you pick
Congrats.
a desk out, Spencer?
I did pick a desk out. It was so stressful. I had analysis
Out about
paralysis.
your desk, bro? That's what you're
man.
About?
Analysis paralysis all day long, man. Like there's so many options. I did find one eventually. It's not a standing desk, but I'll do what Steve did and get the keyboard thing.
I want to know how it works.
Let's talk about real assets that really stress other people out instead of
all right.
Guy's desk.
All right. Okay, congrats to Rachel going for a run this morning. What'd it be? All right, state of the markets.
Italian ice.
I mean, I got to tell you, I want to get to the Bitcoin, but we got to play the Bitcoin Fridays bumper. So before we get to that, let's throw up slide 5 here, Spencer. I think that this is really it. And I have been beating this to death for a long, long time, and I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm not going to apologize for it. Spencer, why don't you mix in a chart, huh? Come on now.
Yeah, give me a sec here. Something's going on with my screen share. Not really sure what.
I've been talking about the dollar. We've been talking about the dollar for a long time. The negative correlation between the dollar and stocks remains incredibly elevated. For years now, I've been hearing half-ass excuses about how this is going to change and how this doesn't matter and how it's not about the dollar. It's about the Fed and the Powell and the inflation and all this other bullshit. All those people have been proven wrong. And it's not about me being right. It's just math. I really don't give a damn what is positively or negatively correlated with the S&P 500. I couldn't care less.
Can we play the Powell clip on here later? Speaking,
but
of
it
Powell?
is. We can play the Powell clip. I haven't seen it yet, but I heard it was funny.
Yeah, it's really funny.
He's the man now, I heard.
He's been the man.
It has he.
I've been coming on here saying how awesome Jerome Powell is for a year now. Nobody listens to me. Now he says the F word once on the internet and everybody loves him.
Yeah. That makes him pretty cool. So Strazza, not to oversimplify things, but this is it, right? This is it. This is all that matters.
I mean, what about rates, right? Rates matter too. Maybe not as much.
Aren't the rates and the dollars moving together?
I don't know what the dollar did yesterday, but as soon as that bond
Not
auction,
much.
as soon as the bond auction debacle happened midday, the market tanked.
Why don't you explain
It's like-
to me, explain to us mere mortals, what this disastrous bond auction that I keep hearing about? What was so disastrous about it?
I don't even know. Everybody's a bond auction expert since yesterday afternoon right now.
Yes.
So I'm not going to play that game.
Those
You
same
need
people
time.
were vaccine experts too, and also Ukrainian war experts, and
It's the same people.
it's the same
The
people.
same people, right?
They're experts at a lot of things, man.
When you issue bonds, when they have these treasury auctions, right? They're issuing new bonds. You need buyers. When you don't have buyers, rates freak out and rip higher. And apparently that's what happened with the 30-year auction yesterday.
All right. You know,
Something went wrong technologically too. I believe.
all right. I don't care.
Yeah.
It goes back to-
Steve's referring to that hack in China, right?
It was China, right?
Yeah, it was the
Always
world's
blame
largest
China.
one.
It's always China's
Yeah,
fault.
yeah. There was a cyber incident at the largest asset manager in the world in China.
Maybe if this country would get their shit together, maybe their stocks wouldn't keep going down. They're lying. They're always scamming people. They're always hacking people. Like, just get your shit together, China. Come on.
Isn't it interesting? We like to make all these rules and regulations, right? And hey, you can't send semiconductors or computer chips to China. But when it comes to selling our bonds, we want to make sure China's in the room at every bond auction, huh? There's no restrictions for China there.
These Chinese people, man, I got to tell you, stop. Get your shit together, man. These stocks just, nobody likes you guys. Like, think about it. No, have you seen the data? For like 10 years, it was all inflows into Chinese equities, and it was like the biggest outflow and lack of inflows into Chinese equities in forever. You see that?
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Get your shit together, China. Play the Bitcoin bumper. Let's talk about something that's actually doing well. China ain't that. Let's play. Let's start with total crypto market cap, now worth more than all the silver in the world.
Yeah, it's
Nobody cares about silver, but it is almost 1.4 trillion in market capitalization. Strazza, that's kind of a big deal.
It's not a small market. What's Ethereum? Do we know?
Ethereum is currently $250 billion. And Bitcoin is $750 billion. So that's that for you math majors. That's $1 trillion between the two of them, roughly.
So Ethereum's a mega cap.
Ethereum would be $250 billion in market cap, which, just a quick little, how you doing here? Let's see. That would make it. What I say? 250.
Let me guess. 20th.
No, more. It is 28, right ahead of Costco.
All right. That means stocks are doing well again.
So Ethereum would be the 28th largest stock if it was a stock. And Bitcoin would be the, what did I say? It's 730 or so. So that would make it, let's see. Why did I just lose my market cap? Oh, hold on. Oh, wait. In terms of, oh, sorry, guys. I just had it and then I lost everything. Hold on. Let's see. Overview. Here we go. Sorry. So market capitalization, Bitcoin right around 730 would be, it would be number 9. It would be number 9 behind Berkshire Hathaway. Excuse me, number 8. I forget there's 2 Googles, 2 Berkshires. So this would be number 8 behind Berkshire Hathaway, just ahead of Tesla for Bitcoin. That's cool.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
That's big.
That's pretty big. You know, Bitcoin, the 8th largest, and then that would put Ethereum in the 20s. That's impressive, you know?
Ethereum, I believe, double check here, had its best week of at least a year, I think, since the November lows last week. I mean, this week.
Throw up the BTC, holding above 30,000. You know, this is a big level. That 30, 31, we've been talking about it forever. What do you think? That anchored VWAP was right there from the all-time highs, right?
Yeah, it was a big level.
Yeah.
Does
Robbie,
it retest?
There's 2 Googles. Strazza could probably explain it to you. There's like a voting Google and then a non-voting Google, right? Something like that.
Yeah, they got both A and B shares.
Corporate shenanigans, but they're Google. They can do whatever they want. Nobody cares. You know, knock yourselves out, right? Berkshire Hathaway has 2 because it's A shares and B shares, right?
We're going to get a retest here?
I wouldn't bet on it. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, you got to get the retest. You got to get the retest. You know, the best breakouts of all time don't retest. So if you're always waiting for a retest, you're by definition going to miss the greatest breakouts ever, right? Is how I look at it, you know?
So maybe not.
I mean, I'm not going to bet on a retest. Can we get the retest? Sure. Will I be a buyer on that retest? Most definitely. But I'm not betting on one.
The time to accumulate was when we were chopping between 25 and 30 all year.
Yeah, you could have, but I didn't like that trade. I preferred buy because I don't like owning things below overhead supply. That's
25
why.
Was a big level. 25 was 25
is a big level. And in hindsight, it proved to be an even bigger level than even you and I imagined. I mean, it looked like a big level. We talked about it as a big level. It acted as a big level, but now in hindsight, oh wow, that was a big level.
It turned into support twice. So you could have seen that. The market telling you over and over and over and over again, 25 matters. The last time it got defended, you could have been in. You're already up over 50%.
To be fair, that 30-31 level resistance was also tested twice, right? And then ultimately broke out, right? So it was in that range, 25 to 30. I mean, you can't argue against that. I mean, that's just what it was. I felt more comfortable being irresponsibly long above 31 versus below. That's it.
You know, another way you could have looked at, I'm just thinking out loud here. Another way you could have looked at it to help yourself be bullish while Bitcoin was trading straight sideways in this 25-30 range earlier for most of this year, really, is, hey, NASDAQ 100, the best tech stocks back at all-time highs, completed these bases, and then, you know, more than confirmed them with massive legs higher. Is Bitcoin not, Bitcoin, this tech?
Yeah, but that didn't work. That strategy didn't work in the spring.
Well, it took a while to catch up. Yeah. Look at it now. That divergence is clearing up more and more every day.
Listen, your 2020 hindsight is great this morning. We talked about it, and we were questioning, like, why isn't Bitcoin catching up? Why is it just tech? Remember?
I love how people like talk for you in the chat.
JC doesn't need to make the first 10% or the last 10%, just the 80% in the middle. I didn't say that, but I don't disagree. That's good right there. I like that. I got no problem with that. Thank you, Robbie. Appreciate that. You know. I like that. Why don't we talk quickly about the futures here? Dow futures up 130 points. Go back and study bull markets throughout history. One thing you'll find is that stocks go up quite often in bull markets. Dow futures up 130 points this morning. S&P futures up 17 handles. It's about 40 bips. NASDAQ 100 up about 30 bips, 50 points. Bond futures up close to a full percent on the 30-year. Gold down 1%, silver down 2%, copper down 1%, oil up 1%, and then the dollar mixed this morning.
Solana.
What is that noise?
Yeah, dude, what is that, Spencer?
Spencer, what is that noise, man?
What?
Yeah, what is that noise? You're so loud.
Really? All right,
Yeah.
hold on.
Sounds terrible. First timer? What is this, Benzinga? Come on, Spencer.
I don't hear anything. All right.
It's a really creepy noise.
It is really
throw up
creepy.
the Ethereum chart. I'm not done talking about crypto.
Well, I was actually going to talk about next, as we talked about the dollar slightly down today. We're looking at Bitcoin up 500 points this morning. Ethereum down actually 20-something points. But the Solana up 12%, up above 50 this morning. Mr. Strazza, how about that?
Solana looks great. Absolutely ripping. And that's a big level, right? You want to see it clear that and see this little flag or coil resolve higher. For Ethereum, we don't talk about Ethereum much, right? It's been all Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin all year. You got a base here too now. Really nice base. 2000, what, 50? If you really want to use the April highs, 2,100. This is the level, right? Is this where you buy Ethereum? And should you buy Ethereum for as a vehicle for exposure to the broader crypto trend?
How about the Ethereum ETF filing?
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. No,
I mean that was
anything to you?
Logical next step, right?
I think so.
I don't think it was a surprise to the market.
Kind of fun to see. Here, let's take a look at the ETH BTC ratio. Spencer, throw up slide 2, please.
So are you saying that's why it had its best day since last year?
Who?
This Ethereum ETF thing?
I didn't even know that it had its best day in a year. You just told me that. That's news
Chart's
to me.
right there. Throw up, yeah, the chart's there.
Ethereum, Bitcoin.
Nice.
Probably. Also, is my mic better? I don't know what that noise was.
This ratio rarely helps me. People talk about this too much, huh? People talk about this one too much.
Why do you think they talk about it too much? What do you mean?
Just look at the absolute trends. If it's crypto bull market, buy the better one or buy them both. I don't know.
This coming from the guy who loves the Solana BTC chart.
No, I don't.
You don't love the Solana BTC chart?
First of all, I'm always going to look at the relative trend because that's going to be in the lower pane.
Isn't that what we're doing here?
I'm saying Ethereum, Bitcoin specifically. Yeah, I don't care about this one because both of these assets have been like such historically amazing performers. If you're comparing them against each other constantly, pitting them against one another and trying to say, which one do I buy? The right answer has been you should buy them both. So a lot of people are very obsessed with talking about, is it Ethereum or Bitcoin? Which one's better? Why can't you just own both of them?
You can own both of them, but the flippening is something important. Right. This is something real. Why are you? What's your
name? It's a cool name. It's a fun story. All that stuff. The flippening.
Listen, I think your recency bias is coming out right now because this ratio has done absolutely nothing for the last 30 months or so. So to your point, you could have just owned both of them and done fine, and you would have done just as fine regardless of which you owned. So actually, you didn't have to own both. You could have owned either one, and you would have done the same. But that's going to change, dude. We've gone sideways for 30 months. Like, there's going to be a resolution here, and in my experience, consolidations this tight tend to resolve in a very violent fashion.
Okay.
Am I wrong? Are we going to split hairs?
No, I think we're talking about different things.
I think we're talking about your recency bias that you can't overcome because you're talking about how people talk about it too much and something that's done nothing. So yes, you're right, but that's not always going to be the case. In fact, my bet is that when it's no longer the case, which could be next month, could be next quarter, could be at some point next year, maybe the year after that, I don't know. But at some point, there's going to be a very violent move, and one is going to take over leadership. Are you going to disagree with that?
Why can't we look back in 10 years and say, oh, that's Apple and Microsoft?
Maybe. I doubt it.
Okay. I think my bigger point is if you zoom out 5, 6, 7, however many years, the right answer has not been to ask the question, should I own Bitcoin or Ethereum? The right question that you should have been asking was, how much of Bitcoin and Ethereum should I own? Because
that's obviously wrong, because we have the math over the last 6, 7 years, and the answer would have been Ethereum by a long shot, like not even close.
No.
They even have a website of how much more money Saylor would have if he bought Ethereum instead of Bitcoin. So,
of course,
no. To Steve's point, it's more about like the question he asked me the other day, which I'm still thinking about, by the way, which is why don't you own more crypto? Right? I think most people, you either have 98% of your net worth in crypto, or 0.05% in crypto.
You know,
right?
That's a great point.
I'm in the middle, so I'm neither one of those. I don't have.
You are
a
you're a unicorn. Congratulations.
But it is such a polarizing, area. It's like oil and gas. Worse, right? You either own way too much, it's way too material of an allocation, or
first of all, nobody has way too much energy. Let's be serious.
No, but I like that, Spencer. You're totally right. Not enough people are in the middle on this one at all. You should treat this like anything else in a diversified portfolio.
I will say that the risk, in my opinion, in crypto right now, the biggest risk is not having enough exposure.
Now.
Sure. Yeah, now. Above
that's
31.
That's what Steve was just saying. You guys agree with each other.
We agree with each other 99% of the time, by the way. Like we agree
yell
on
at each other while we do it.
No, seriously, I think that's the risk of not owning enough, because the risk is what, a few thousand points. What's to the downside? What's the risk to the upside? 1 million? Right? I have no idea. How high can Bitcoin go? I have no idea. But we know that we only want to be long if it's above 31. So we have our downside protected. And what's to the upside? An unlimited amount. I have no idea. 100,000, 200,000, 1 million. Make it 1 trillion. I have no idea. It doesn't matter. My point is that the risk is very much skewed to the upside. So as investors, which we all are, and if you're not an investor, you're probably watching the wrong show, right? As investors, I think that that's how we need to approach it, myself included. Spencer Israel, Steve Strazza, Chris, Peter, everybody, Rachel, right? I mean, am I wrong? Shouldn't we be thinking that way? The risk is so skewed to the upside that if you don't have enough, that could be a big problem.
I look forward to the follow up to this conversation in 12 months when we all need to desperately rebalance our portfolio because crypto is exploded and taken over.
I mean, you might need to rebalance. We YOLOing over
I'm
here.
kidding.
Right?
I'm joking.
This is the old hodl. Are we hodling?
No, I'm not serious, Steve.
I know. I wish we could go back and find clips of all the people who were saying crypto is dead and over and no one will ever own it and no institution will ever deal with it. This was just 1 year ago.
Speaking of which, by the way, my crypto punk is up a ton over the last week. Okay. I don't know if you guys have seen this.
Okay.
No.
The animal spirits are waking up in crypto. Look at the Solana chart. People are asking about Cardano in the chat. This isn't chart request live. Coinbase is ripping, breaking higher from a base. The miners suck. That's okay. Animal spirits are back. Altcoins look really good. You could draw a nice base in any of these altcoin indexes, and these bases are getting ready. As soon as a base completes in the altcoin, that's your entry point. Just like Ethereum right now, I think this is where you buy this coin. Second largest cryptocurrency. Solana too. You could draw a clean level at 50. Do we not have these charts?
We probably have them somewhere.
And I do, Spencer. I want to talk about this meta news. I find it very, very interesting. That's definitely something we got to go over.
The news from China. That news.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We can talk about that. But to your point about people, dancing on the grave of crypto, I feel like that was really only in vogue in like what was it, 2017, after Bitcoin went to 20 and then went down to like 3, right? And then after it survived that run, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I kind of thought, all right,
I'll give you some names after the show. You'll be shocked about people who were literally saying it's over just last year.
all right.
Are we ready for? Don't we have a guest interview? It's 8:57.
Bring him
Oh
in.
yeah, I've been doing our guest at 9, but we can bring him in. Andrew O'Connell.
Okay.
Let me make sure his Andrew, do we have your camera okay or what? Do we need to test it out, because I don't see your face? So let's check your camera connection and then we can bring you on. So while he does that, can I do maybe an earnings or something?
Anything good here? I'm still catching up.
Yeah.
It's still earnings season. When is it not earnings season?
Well,
It's really not.
No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true.
Okay,
That's not
who's
true.
important? Who important hasn't reported yet?
Okay, so just because like 90%, like 88% of the S&P is reported already, doesn't mean that there's not still interesting reports here. And then like I think next week is the beginning of retail earnings season, or maybe in 2 weeks. I don't even know. So you get all the retailers reporting it at the same time. That's always fun.
The information from earnings season is in.
Yeah, well, sure. On a macro front, yes, the information is in. Almost all of the big names have reported. That's true. Doesn't mean there's not interesting things to learn or interesting headlines or volatility. Frankly, you're getting the trade desk down 22% this morning. It's getting rocked.
Yeah, did really ugly report there. Did you know that next year we're expecting record earnings and margins for the average S&P 500 component are again expanding.
Okay.
Which is important.
Can you throw up slide 2 quick before Andrew comes on? Throw up slide 2 there quick.
JC,
Look at that.
What is this? What is this?
This is the user interface they give you
for
buy an NFT.
Crypto, they don't give this to you. It's free. Everybody has it. But yeah, CryptoPunks doubled. Just an FYI. Maybe not doubled, but up like 80% in the last like few weeks.
I don't even know where to go to find this information. I won't even know where to go.
I would be surprised if you did.
You're lucky. Keep it that way, Spencer.
If you're not checking the value of CryptoPunks in the morning when you're looking at your futures, I don't know what you're doing.
You can only hurt yourself. Don't do it.
I couldn't even tell you.
Hey, should I go to any crypto conferences next year?
No, but this is to Straza's point. The animal spirits, right? This is part of it. This is like a longer duration. Granted, this is the blue chip of the NFT space, but I'm just saying these are monster moves. Monster moves.
Seriously, I went to a few conferences in 21 and 22. Not last year because they all happen in South Florida, mostly Miami. Maybe I'll go this year. Check out this new sentiment.
No,
I
feel like nobody there has any money.
No, they don't. But you meet people. It's fun. Fonz came to one.
Yeah.
Wait, aren't they always? There's always stuff in Miami, right? Stuff's always happening.
Yeah. There's good ones and there's really bad ones.
Yeah,
I've been to both.
Yeah.
You know, some of these conferences, some are just a party.
They're
right?
music festivals.
They're
like
music festivals.
NFT Miami is just a big music festival.
It's like Comic-Con for like NFT nerds, you know, like that sort of stuff.
Yeah, like Rick Ross is there, and it's
Right.
just open bars and stuff.
Right. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. I encourage partying. I think people should party more.
Only in bull markets. No, I don't think they should get to party in 2022.
That's bullshit. First of all, the back half of 2022 was incredibly bullish.
I'm just saying, you should only have open bar conferences in bull markets.
I disagree.
No,
I disagree. People need it more in bear markets.
That's bad juju. No.
I don't know.
The Christmas parties we used to have at one of the places I worked, it would be like top secret.
Yeah.
After the
fight. Yeah, I went to a few of those bull market Christmas parties in my day too.
Like
a lot of drugs, you know. A lot of professionals. I mean, it was wild. Why don't we bring in Andrew, huh?
Let me hop off and troubleshoot with Andrew, and you guys just talk amongst yourselves and play nice or whatever it is that you do.
All right, let's play nice. All right, so Strazza, let's talk about let's talk about what a bull market in 2024 is going to look like. You know,
Broader.
in my opinion, part of the sentiment that drives this is half the country's really angry, right? Election years. There's a lot of people, in my experience, take their eye off the ball. They're so busy being angry that they forget to take advantage of uptrends. We saw that in 2016. Oh my God, the anger of people because Trump was running for election and they hate Trump or whatever it is. And I lived in California at the time. And we were so bullish in 2016 at the beginning of the year. And then it kind of started turning a little bearish, neutral in the spring, because a lot of our upside targets were hit really quickly. And I was in the camp that the market was going to roll over. I was with the angry people. I wasn't angry because of elections, but I was like, yeah, we're going to roll over again, because I was super bearish in 15. And then I went to Cabo San Lucas, right? Went to Cabo with the wife, my girlfriend at the time, for her birthday. And I got back in July, and I started going through my charts, and I'm like, oh my God, we need to buy everything. Like transports, industrials, technology was breaking out, financials looked good. And we ripped during a time that the market was supposed to struggle, including people being so angry. They were just so angry, they forgot to buy stocks. It was pretty awesome. And then 2017, when the market was supposed to crash because Trump was going to ruin everything, 2017 was one of the greatest, least volatile years in American history.
Well, that November 2016 candle, the most epic after hours price action ever, probably. Talk about a reversal.
You weren't around in 08. But yes, it was a monster reversal. Particularly the Russell 2000 futures.
Didn't circuit breakers go off at night, and then they came in and reversed it in the morning?
I don't know. I think maybe
was that bad. Yes,
you might be right.
When he got elected, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
I was watching. I was at the office until, I don't know, midnight that night. Just kind of watching through it, right? Posting through it, tweeting through it. It was pretty wild stuff. All right. We have Andrew. Can I bring him on?
You knew Trump won because the market was selling off like before, right? You know what I mean?
They priced it in.
It was already priced in. That's right. And they priced it in too much because
for a couple weeks, though, not during the election that day. It was dipping into the election.
But
really that day, and then the reversal on the Russell 2000 futures, forget about it.
But by the way, speaking of that reversal,
what Jay say?
Real fast. This is I did not read the Michael Lewis book about Sam Bankman-Fried, but there is an anecdote in there about how Sam Bankman-Fried figured out how to get the election results before like the news media did, and he went home at whatever it was, midnight, up so much money, and then the reversal the next morning, like, lost it all. Right? Just he was like the biggest trade in I forget where he worked now. Whatever that secretive hedge fund is. Thank you, Jane Street. Biggest trade changing history, then lost it all the next morning, right? Because the market reversed. Anyway, let's bring on Andrew. Let's bring on Andrew O'Connell from Pristine Capital. He's there.
Jay, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call.
I mean, this is pretty professional, guys.
Nice show you got going here.
Andrew.
What's going on? Thanks for having me, JC. How's it going? Happy Friday.
Dude, it looks like you work for NASA. You're ready to launch a rocket.
Let's go. The rocket, the crypto.
Right? Doesn't he? A little bit.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Isn't that what the kids say? Right? Right?
Yeah, the rocket emojis.
No, I like it. Right? I like it. So talk to me, Andrew. What's on your mind? What are you seeing out there? Happy Friday, by the way.
Happy Friday. Yeah, in terms of what I'm seeing, well, we had a pretty crazy move last week. Market was up, S&P 500 is up about 5.5%, which is a massive move. We had the ARK Innovation ETF. That thing was up almost 20%. We saw a crazy move in Bitcoin as well. And this week, we're basically seeing a digestion of that move. Yesterday was the first day where we actually started to see the market pull back. And I already see investors that are literally like panicking and heading for the hills. To me, this is pretty normal action when you have like that huge blast off in the market. And I'm really just looking for those pockets of relative strength at this point. We are at the later stages of the performance year. So really now it's just wrapping things up, getting into the holiday season. That trading volume is probably going to come down, and just trying to set myself up into the end of the year.
You know, really interesting. You talked about ARK up almost 20% or whatever the total number was. Best week ever. ARK's down 3%. So basically gave almost nothing back, which is interesting.
Exactly. Yeah,
Let's talk
go ahead.
By the way, depending on the day, might actually not give any back this week, potentially. I mean, who knows?
I want to talk about some of these pockets of strength that you're speaking.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so the pockets that I'm seeing, one dynamic that I noticed into Q4, I've noticed the worst thing that you can do in Q4 is shorting areas of the market that have a really good year-to-date performance. And on the flip side, trying to get long assets that have a really bad year-to-date performance. So far, the big ones that I'm noticing, semiconductors have been the leader this year with the NVIDIA run. The XLK Mega Cap Tech ETF, that one has been huge. Again, the Magnificent Seven, that theme has been dominating the market. And then also these blockchain stocks, which they've actually been the best performer all year, but they're not really getting a whole lot of attention, I would say, until the last couple of days when Bitcoin had this big run. So I would imagine at the end of the year, hey, the market's had a pretty good year as much as everyone is panicking over all these different events. When there's a positive year in the market, barring some big negative catalyst, I notice investors typically go to those high relative strength areas like semiconductors, mega cap tech, and that blockchain group. And then the areas they really avoid are those year-to-date losers, like the solar stocks have been horrible this year, cannabis stocks have been horrible, and those regional banks.
It's funny. We were talking about the worst stocks on here a few days ago, and it was those two groups that came up, solar and cannabis. Talk about some of these blockchain stocks. Like what? Give us some names.
Yeah, so for me, what I'm most interested in is spot Bitcoin. I think that is essentially, like, I'll call it like the quote unquote safest way to play it. But I think the ones that are really interesting, I mean, GBTC, the potential conversion to the ETF. One thing I track very closely is the premium or discount to NAV for GBTC.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that's really
I mentioned it the other day, and I got my head ripped off because like they're like, oh, they passed the bill, so now that no longer works. You're telling me it still works?
It's slowly going to zero, is it not? It should.
It is. It's now getting very, very close to zero. So like you'll see online a lot of people talking like, oh, is it going to get converted? Is it not? Is there going to be an approval?
Yeah.
But in my opinion, the smartest way to track those odds is just look at that premium or discount. Yeah, the market's the smartest.
So explain that. The market erasing that discount, used to be a massive discount, is basically the smart money telling us that the courts are going to rule in favor of them and they're going to convert to spot.
Exactly. Yeah. So
is it historically it goes towards a premium in uptrends, and it goes towards a discount in downtrends, and we've been in an uptrend in Bitcoin for a year.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Andrew. I think ever since that issue last year or the year before about how they custody their assets, didn't the discount just blow out and kind of stay there?
Yeah, the discount really blew out. But to JC's point, I think a lot of it has to do with the crypto winter. And typically when we've seen these speculative runs in Bitcoin, especially when it was at like more of an infant stage, when Bitcoin is going from like 1,000 to 2,000 to 5,000, et cetera, you would see that premium just explode out to the upside. But I think since we had the FTX debacle and everything is getting much more real in terms of the regulations around Bitcoin.
Good, right?
Even like the kerfuffle over like, does GBTC have enough Bitcoin to pay out all these investors? Like that whole thing going on. I think now it's trading a lot more in line with, hey, is this thing going to get converted or is it not?
I like it. And when do you, any insight as to when we're supposed to find out, or we don't really know when they come out with these announcements?
Yes, that should be at some point in Q1 of 2024. That's the latest that I'm hearing. But to be honest, like seeing that discount just completely shrink, that tells me, hey, the market's discounting that it is going to happen. So like if we were to get some news, like
it's been doing that for a year though, Andrew. Since Bitcoin
Yeah.
bottomed, it's been doing that.
Exactly. So I think the market is very, very smart, where it's this discounting mechanism. And as those odds have increased, the discount has slowly but surely throughout the year been shrinking. So now we're getting to the point where it's basically gone. I would say now it's essentially fully priced in.
What an arb there. So that would have been a
Yeah,
much
but now is it
better
going to trade
vehicle.
at a premium? Are we going to trade at a premium now like it normally does in uptrends?
Probably not, because there's so many options these days.
Exactly. So I think it's actually not going to trade at a premium this time, because if it gets converted to the ETF tends to trade very, very close to the NAV.
Yeah.
So I really think it's not going to like explode out to a premium on the upside. I just think it's going to get to basically the NAV and then just kind of stay there.
I think the
This
premium
thing was like at a 40% premium 3 years ago.
I think that also had to do with just the lack of equity vehicles, right? And now if all these other funds come to market, you're going to have plenty of options, plenty of low fee options.
That's probably right.
It's a new world.
That's a good
Guess
point.
we'll see.
Yeah,
All
we'll
right,
see.
what else? You like Coinbase, Andrew? We're big Coinbase fans. JC is so bulled up on coin.
Yeah, Coinbase, definitely one of the leaders. Yeah, I think there's a few front runners. Like the issue that I see with some of the crypto miners, like I actually traded Riot recently, is we have an upcoming halving and the block rewards are going to be cut in half. So I think with those miners, suddenly it's becoming like, hey, what do the fundamentals of the miners actually look like? Because to your point, Steve, we have so many vehicles now to trade this theme. So yeah, I think a play like Coinbase, they actually have a lot of financial upside in this whole thing because they have that partnership with BlackRock. So I think Coinbase is one of the better plays. I think MicroStrategy is another good one because that actually is just essentially the pure play on spot BTC. And some of the miners, I really think you have to be a little bit more careful with those now.
I was reading yesterday. I have to go check the math. MicroStrategy has already, they're sitting on $1 billion in unrealized profits at this point, just from this little rally. They just got in the money, a few weeks ago on the breakout. So
Exactly. And everyone was saying that Michael Saylor was, an idiot for the last 2 years while we were in this bear market, that he was going to get margin called, it was going to blow up the system.
they were
And
so
now he's looking pretty
terrible to him.
smart.
They were so terrible to him, the mainstream media with all these stupid stories about margin calls. I'm surprised he even still goes on. I think he's one of the best spokespeople that the space has, though. So I'm glad that he still does do media.
Exactly. Yeah. So now he's looking pretty smart on his bet. He basically went all in on the asset. And we'll see. He's either going to look like a genius or, like an epic failure. But I honestly think like that window for the whole thing to implode, I think that was around when this FTX stuff was happening.
Yeah, they seem like they're in the clear, at least for now.
Mm-hmm.
And what's cool too about MicroStrategy, right, is that until the SEC approves some sort of crazy XXX leveraged long Bitcoin ETF, the most leverage you're going to get in a Bitcoin ETF is MicroStrategy for now.
Exactly. Yeah. So it is really a more pure play. And yeah, they have the software business, but yeah, I don't think anyone's really trading it for that reason. So yeah, I think MicroStrategy is a good vehicle. The GBTC is a good vehicle. And the miners, I think it's really just about watching the relative strength.
If Michael Saylor would have bought Ethereum instead of Bitcoin, he'd have over $8 billion worth right now. He only has about 5.8 billion. So he'd be up 75% instead of 25.
Poor guy. Poor guy.
I don't think he's poor.
So we're talking about a billion in difference in unrealized profits.
$1 billion in difference. By my math, it's 3 billion.
So between 6 and 8.
So that is a really good point because everyone now is focused on Bitcoin, and BlackRock actually just filed for an Ethereum ETF as well. If you look at everyone, it's just Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. No one is really focused on Ethereum. So if you're thinking of like a more high beta way to trade this, it could actually be Ethereum.
And when you look at the price of the ETH BTC and you look at the the flippening chart, if you will, it's really been sideways for years. To Strazza's earlier point, like hasn't done anything. But I don't think that that's sustainable. I think these tight consolidations historically, in my experience, resolve in very violent fashion. I'm not going to bet that this time is going to be different. I wish I could tell you when this resolution is going to take place. Could be next month, could be next quarter, could be next year, 2 years from now. I have no idea. But this tight consolidation, I don't buy it, Andrew. It's going to break one way or another. And if you had to guess, which way do you think it's going to break?
I think it will break to the upside. And I think it's just for that reason that everyone's focused on this Bitcoin ETF right now. But if once that conversation flips to, hey, it might be an Ethereum ETF next, then I could see a lot of money flowing into that asset and this one making a really nice relative strength move to the upside. So I think like if you're just playing the trend, Bitcoin is the thing right now. But if you're trying to look ahead to where's the puck potentially going to go in the future, then I think this ratio chart, you got to have it on the screen. I actually really like this trade.
Is Bitcoin gold, Ethereum's the internet? Is that how we want to think about this?
Something like that. Yeah, I think of Bitcoin really as like a digital gold, or to be honest, I think of it almost like as a digital collectible. Where like if you look at trading cards, you might have a whole set of trading cards. Most of them are worthless, just like most of these crypto tokens are worthless. But then you have a few gems in there that are unique and investors actually flock to them. And I think Bitcoin's just that really unique story, fully decentralized, and you can't really replicate that.
Are you saying, Andrew, that Bitcoin is like a Jordan rookie card? Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying. I think that's the best way to put it. Like that story with Satoshi Nakamoto and, the founder stepped away. It's completely decentralized. It's the first one, this white paper. Like you can't really recreate that story.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
You could buy like the Fleer 1986, like unopened packs. They're expensive, but you could still buy them because there might be a Jordan rookie in there.
Exactly. So I think that's BTC.
If I ever do that, there's zero chance there's a Jordan rookie in there, but for the record.
Yeah. So I think, BTC is here now. And then Ethereum also has a pretty interesting story with like the internet machine and just more innovation happening on the Ethereum network. And it's also like, the second biggest network. The ETFs could be coming there. So I think that ratio chart actually is very important. I think there could be some alpha in that in the future.
I'm glad you said that because Strazza thinks it's not important.
Andrew, do you think
so I
you
appreciate
should
that,
own
Andrew.
them both, or do you think you should try and own the better one? What is the right long-term strategy?
I own both. So I have a long-term investing program that I run. And for someone that's like very speculative in the market, or maybe not even speculative, just someone that has years to retirement, my allocation is a 9% weight to Bitcoin and a 1% weight to Ethereum.
Wow.
So basically the overweight on Bitcoin, but just having that kicker in the portfolio or that upside in case the puck moves over to Ethereum.
1% Ethereum, 9% BTC. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if you agree with that based on your comment.
Hold on. What would make you change that?
Yeah, good call. Good question.
So I think if there was some wider spread adoption of Ethereum, and to be honest, like with Ethereum, it's completely centralized and the gas fees are so high. So from a long-term investing perspective, I would have to see a lot of different things to change that. To be honest, that's why I like having a long-term investing account and then having a trading account as well. If I wanted to express that ratio chart, I would probably do that in my trading account and then just keep the long-term investing the same.
Got it. Let's talk about market capitalization to really put things in perspective. Ballpark, Bitcoin's about 750 billion, Ethereum's about 250 billion. What do you think this looks like in the future? Where do you think this goes? Again, just to put things in perspective, gold's about 13 trillion, silver's about 1.3 trillion, total crypto market cap's about 1.4 trillion. Most of that is Bitcoin and Ethereum, which is about $1 trillion combined, kind of just to put things in perspective.
Yeah, I think that 1 trillion mark is a really good benchmark to use. Essentially what you mentioned, the size of the gold market, size of the silver market. And here's why, like, even if you put away the whole, like, crypto revolution, like futuristic thinking, the reality is if these ETFs are approved, which we established, hey, that premium, that discount is shrinking on GBTC, so there's a very high chance. It is BlackRock now in this, and some of these big industry players, if they are in this asset and say they make a marketing push, hey, everyone should have a little slice of Bitcoin, Ethereum in their portfolio, suddenly that stigma goes away. And for a lot of financial advisors, almost none of them have these assets in their portfolio. But if you add these into any portfolio optimization or simulation, you will see that there is a positive impact on long-term portfolios if you include them. So I really believe it's going to be like, hey, the biggest players are now advocating for these assets. You can see in portfolio optimizations that they would actually help you. If you're underperforming, it's almost like, why would I not allocate? So I think there's going to be increased demand in the future. And I could very easily see over the next, couple of years, easily hitting that trillion mark.
$1 trillion for Bitcoin.
$1 trillion for Bitcoin, and I think Ethereum.
I mean, it's right.
is
It's
just
almost
more
there.
Speculative.
It's almost there, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking the next couple months it could probably get to $1 trillion. No, I mean, any math majors out there? What does it need to get to? The high 40s? Not even mid 40s. It's not that.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
we could be there on Sunday.
That is true. Yeah, I think the way that I think about it is, like I've been allocating to these assets over the past couple of years. To be honest, I think we've been in the worst environment for these assets. So we had inflation moving higher, central bank balance sheets moving lower. Ultimate worst case scenario for these assets.
Criminals left and right. Also, you tend to see that, the Bernie Madoffs of the world come after the crash, that sort of thing.
Exactly. Yeah, the criminals in the space, the whole 9 yards. But I really believe that if we go into any sort of a more accommodative environment, and I think that is what the market is sniffing out right now, the early stages of that, I could see Bitcoin very easily getting to 100,000. And if you were allocating in, like I was dollar cost averaging in between that 15,000 mark and that 30,000 mark, I have a cost base around like 23K. That is like a potential 4x on your money. And if it goes to zero, you lose 100%. So you essentially have a 4-to-1 payout, which I really like.
Yeah, I consider it a much better payout if you don't wait to zero and you kind of keep your threshold at 30. And if you got a 29 handle on there, there's no reason to own any, in my opinion. So I think the risk versus reward is even more skewed. Caleb Franzen chiming in on the chat. What's up, Caleb? Trillions of dollars are coming into BTC. He says, why don't you throw out how many trillion Bitcoin's going to be worth at the end of next year? But think about this, it going to 100,000. Again, check my math. We're talking over $2 trillion in market cap for Bitcoin at 100, right? What is it, 2.25 trillion, something like that?
Yeah, somewhere around there. And the thing is, it's a very low float asset. So that's the thing I think a lot of people forget.
That's actually a really, really interesting point you make. It's a low float asset. It's true. Also on the futures market, highest open interest in futures ever. Those are not retail investors, Andrew.
Yeah, there are changes happening. So like when I used to work at Vanguard, we used the BlackRock Aladdin software to manage, fixed income portfolios, equity portfolios. And they recently entered into a partnership with Coinbase.
Yeah.
Exactly, Coinbase. So now if you're an institutional portfolio manager, you can use that Aladdin software to manage your crypto book. So it's
how many
changed.
coins? How many coins? Are they all the coins? Just some of them?
This is for Bitcoin.
Just
right?
Bitcoin.
Yeah. So right now it's very limited, but that
Talk
could
to me when they get
expand.
their shit coins. When they get their shit coins in order, that's what I
Imagine the transaction fees they're going to make off being the exchange of choice, though, for Bitcoin for now. That's going to be big money for them.
Can I ask about the low float? Are you referring to the number of coins in circulation? Is that
because there's hodlers, right? When you look at the long-term holders.
Okay. So my question is, how can something have a low float if it is infinitely divisible?
Yeah, so
it's not infinitely divisible.
What?
There's a finite amount of coins.
Yeah, it's not infinitely divisible. Yes. Number one, number two.
But I can own 0.00001.
Yeah, so that's a good point, Spencer. That one actually made me think for a second. So it is infinitely divisible. So like I could say, sell 0.001 of a Bitcoin. I could buy 0.001. But at the end of the day, if no one's willing to sell me that, or there's just not enough to
Yeah,
go
and
around,
also,
it's still the
Spencer,
same.
you don't matter. Like, you are nothing. The institutions are not going to be buying 0.001% of a Bitcoin. Like, if you want to do that, knock yourself out. You don't matter.
They will when the price is at $1 million or $1 billion. They will. So.
Maybe, but my point is, a lot of these coins are in cold storage. They're not available to trade, which is Andrew's point. You know, the float out there is. I would love to see some updated data on that. On how much is in the cold storage, the total long-term holders, which is more than 155 days, right? I'm gonna dive into some of that data, but we know it's low.
Yeah. So I think it's very easy to transact, but yeah, if people don't want to sell their coins, and there's just not enough to go around, then that's where you see these big moves. Like even this year, like the asset, doubled off the lows very quickly, and it cuts both ways as well. When there is a big wave of sellers, the price moves down very quickly too. So it does cut both ways.
That's another great point. The low flow works in both directions. Great point, Andrew.
Yeah.
Great point.
All right. Andrew O'Connell, Pristine Capital. Links to his Substack, his Twitter, his site are all in the description. Andrew,
great.
thanks a lot, man.
Thanks, Andrew. Let's do it again.
Definitely. Thanks so much for having me. Happy Friday, guys.
Adios.
See you guys.
He's the man. That was great.
Fun conversation. I got to be honest,
good.
though. I couldn't help zoning out. Once you guys go too deep into the crypto fundamentals, like thank God we have charts, right? Because all of this stuff
What
is
fundamentals?
Like,
what fundamentals?
Well, he was talking about.
First of all, the halving is not fundamentals. That is technical.
No.
That is the behavior of the market. Tell me what else.
Halving, which sounds like a horror movie, has been explained to me probably 10 times. I don't listen. I honestly still don't know what it is.
Okay, but just because you're too dumb to understand it doesn't mean
No, I
that's
just don't get it.
fundamentals.
No, is it really
Those
that?
are
Or is it that
technicals.
It doesn't matter. I sound like you now. Isn't that funny? This shit doesn't matter. Look at the chart. Like, this is all crazy. Nobody understands this stuff. And if you do understand it, good for you. You don't understand
It's really not that complicated. It's really not that complicated, and it has nothing to do with fundamentals. These are technical mechanics of the marketplace.
Line go up. That's
no, that's a good point from one hole. Is it the fundamentals or the mechanics? I would say it's more mechanics, right? Yeah, this is how it works. This is how it
Right, the
functions.
mechanics, so the technicals.
Okay. Well, sure. Yeah.
Are we talking about the behavior of the market or the goods and the services in which that market deals?
If we're talking about the supply of coins in the market, yes, it's technical. So I'll give you that one.
It's
the
the market
right.
structure.
I wasn't asking for your approval.
It's the market structure. It's the structure of the market. Let's move on.
Technical.
Not always, but okay.
Every single time, as a matter of fact.
We talk about the Fed.
Okay,
fine.
We talk about the Fed? Oh, you want to play the video? Play the video.
It's funny.
All right. So the context for this video that I will play right now as I share my screen
You don't need context. You don't need to explain this. Play the video.
Play the context. Explain to us mortals who don't watch basic cable television during the day because we're at work.
All right. So this is a 45-second clip. I guess I'll just play the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
But what are we playing?
This is from a speech yesterday that he gave.
Speech yesterday. Where?
IMF.
Yeah.
Where
does he met?
International Monetary Fund?
Yes.
Yeah, but the where is irrelevant.
Okay.
All right.
The process of getting inflation sustainably down to 2% has a long way.
What the hell is going on?
I heard it. It worked. You got it, Spencer.
It's freezing for me now, but all right.
Go. Replay it.
It just froze for me.
Way to go. The labor market remains tight, although improvements in labor supply and a gradual easing in demand continue to move it into better balance. GDP.
Oh. We're not going to get it? Can someone just...
No, I literally don't know. It worked when I just played it, when I tested it before. I don't even know what's going on. Hold on 1 second.
Well,
it's probably hold on. I want to refresh. It's been open too long. Sometimes Twitter does this. If you keep a video open too long, it'll just not work for you.
He's the coolest man on the internet here today.
He's pretty cool.
So here's what I've observed about profanity: it is either incredibly endearing or the opposite, whatever the opposite of endearing is. Right? It depends on the context. Right? It either makes you seem trashy or really cool. There's really no in between.
I think that a guy whose job is to come on and talk like a robot and not say anything while he talks for an hour at a time, to actually see that there's like a real person in there in that moment, I think.
Yeah, I just don't see Ben Bernanke or Janet Yellen saying fuck.
Oh,
Dude, it was great.
You know what I mean?
Wait.
Like, I just don't see it.
Does
I
this
would love
work?
to hear
Thank you very much.
Does that work?
Thank you very much. Yep. Thank you.
Oh, come on, Spencer.
Get
All right,
outta
you're done.
here.
You're cut
Dude.
off.
All right,
Just
all
cut
right,
today.
all right, all right, all right.
It was literally the next line. He just
I
goes,
know,
"Close
I know, I
Can you just tell
know.
me what he
Um,
says?
He says close the fucking
So,
door.
right. Climate protesters come in. That's why they cut the video, right? Because they don't want to show him on camera. They cut the video. And then you still hear the audio going. A security guard comes up to him and like grabs them. They're all on the stage with like their poster or whatever. And he goes, just close the effing door.
And what country are they in?
Probably in Europe. This usually happens in Europe. And I'll just say, not being political at all, facts are facts. This is the president's fault. He came in, when he came into office, with this big holistic policy shift towards every government agency now has a new mandate, which is climate change. So he brought the Federal Reserve, who should have nothing to do with climate change, into this whole climate change world. They have a dual mandate. They have the most important job of any government agency, which is price stability and full employment. Those two things are very important. Not an easy job. You give them a third job, which is climate change, and now they're getting harassed by these crazy lunatics over in Europe.
Steve
This is
Strazza
crazy.
becomes the chairman of the Federal Reserve one day, the parties that we're going to throw are going to be so epic. You think that you could be the Fed chairman?
Would I be a hawk or a dove?
Well, I guess it depends on the environment, I would like to think. No?
Yeah. I don't know what you would be, Steve,
Yeah,
honestly.
I hope you wouldn't go into that job knowing what type of chairman you're going to be. That would be pretty irresponsible. I
See,
don't think
come
I
on,
would
wait,
want
come
you-
on, Steve. You have to be data dependent. Data
Yeah.
dependent. Come on now.
Yeah, think about the dot plots, you know?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I wouldn't do. I wouldn't have anything to do with climate change if I was Federal Reserve Chairman.
Nobody in
All right.
Venezuela and in Africa gives a shit about your climate change policy. So you could lose all the money you want in America. They're still going to destroy the climate on these other countries.
I got a hot take. Now that the presidential election's coming up, because that's always fun, and I don't think this one's going to be any less fun than the past.
Coming. It's a year away, man.
Dude, this is when it starts. It's starting right now. It's
know.
all you're going to hear about for the next 12
I
months.
know.
So,
You're about where?
the-
I don't talk to those kind of people. Where do you talk to
Yeah.
people that are talking to you about the election?
you live in Quakertown, Pennsylvania, so maybe you're like immune to it, living out there.
I
in the
lived in
woods
New York
and
City
you're-
forever.
in the
Nobody
woods.
ever talked to me about elections. I lived in Miami. Nobody talked to me. I lived in California.
mean,
Nobody talked to me.
Everybody has a
everybody-
sign on his forehead.
Yes, everybody gets what I'm saying. So this is what you're going to hear about for the next 12
So
months.
you just walk
The
around
federal-
Duval Street in Key West and people are talking to you about the
Oh
election?
my God! Let him finish,
This is how the world
please.
works. You might not like it, but don't pretend like it's
I
not
don't.
true.
I love the world. I
This is how
like the
the world
world.
works.
I have no problem with Earth.
Anyway, my point.
That's because you live here, right?
I live on Earth. I don't know where you guys live.
The Federal Reserve Chairman is more important than the president.
Yeah, that's probably right. That's probably right.
Definitely to the market.
Well, what,
And since the market and the economy are really important,
More
think
important
about,
to the
think
market.
about the
not-
president
not-
that we currently have, leaving politics aside. Like, this guy can't even talk. Like, imagine having a
Not-
Fed chairman like that.
Not more important for other things, but more important for the market. Sure, yeah. of
I think
course.
as a figurehead, the
Obviously.
president's more important. In reality, Fed chairman, right?
Mm.
Panama.
Panama.
Moving on, let's talk a couple quick earnings here. Big movers from today. We have the trade desk TTD getting smoked. What are we down? We were down 20% at the open. Haven't looked since the open now. But EPS beat, whatever sales beat, but revenue very light. Revenue guidance coming in $30 million below estimates there. So we are down. Like I said, nice 20% dip in the trade desk today. Diageo. I guess no one is buying booze, specifically in Latin America. Diageo warned that their sales in Latin America, which make up about 11% of its overall revenue, are going to fall 20% in the final 6 months of this calendar year. Diageo, of course, the owners of Johnny Walker and Guinness and Smirnoff and Bailey's and Captain Morgan and
And Tanqueray.
Don Julio, Tanqueray, Ciroc, Casamigos now. I forgot about that. Yeah. So anyway, no one in Latin America drinking their beer.
Don Julio.
Right. So Diageo, big loser today as well. And what else did I have on my list here? We had Unity. They're down as well on their report. We had Win. I think they were down on their report too.
Are you listening to the Win conference calls? Isn't he the man? Isn't he the best conference call guy?
I don't think he does them anymore, does he? He's old as hell.
He used
to Win.
the Win.
Steve Win is not even
conference calls.
He's not even the CEO anymore.
Nothing
back in the day.
A long time ago.
I didn't get the memo that he doesn't do them anymore. I don't listen to conference calls.
He's not even the CEO anymore. He hasn't.
All right,
really?
Relax.
He's not the CEO anymore?
No, dude, he got really, really rich like a really long time ago. This has been this way for a while.
He's the one with the really like bad tan, like Angelo Mozillo, right?
Yes.
He hasn't been CEO in like 5 years, I think.
Yeah, he is. Big art collector. Big art guy.
You think he owns a CryptoPunk?
I would love to know the answer to that.
I'm thinking yes.
I would love to know how many of these, billionaire hedge fund managers, guys like him, investors, actually dabble.
I mean, if they're art collectors, think about it. If they're art collectors, then they've dabbled in some digital art.
Yeah. Like there's some closet crypto freaks out there that probably fall into the whale category that we're just never.
It's easy to be a crypto whale, by the way. You don't need that much money.
Yeah, what is the limit?
I mean, I'm a crypto whale. It's not just a money amount. It's what if you own a punk, you're a whale.
All right, Steve wants to talk. Steve, you want to talk about this meta news, right? So I didn't realize that Facebook has been banned in China since 2009. I did not realize when it went back that far.
Here we go again. These Chinese people ruining everything.
Right. So in any case, in spite of that fact that Facebook's been banned in China for 14 years, Meta has inked a deal with Tencent, which I still wish would trade in the U.S. They don't.
Just read the press release headline.
Tencent does trade in the U.S.
They trade OTC.
Meta has entered into a pivotal deal with Tencent to sell VR headsets in China, marking its re-entry into China after a 14-year absence. The partnership would see Tencent become the exclusive distributor of a new, more affordable VR headset made by Meta. This move occurs amidst the ongoing blockage of Facebook and Instagram by Beijing since mid-2009. If they can get back into China, guys, that's big money. That's a big deal. Good for Mark Zuckerberg for trying to get this done. That's a smart move. Really smart move. Yeah. Really smart move.
Tencent has traded in the United States for a long time.
Okay, OTC, fine. You knew what I meant.
What they should be added? Why? What's wrong with OTC?
Well, because we have this interesting situation here where Chinese companies are allowed to do business in the U.S., but God forbid a U.S. company is allowed to do business in China.
Yeah, but look at this. Look at the value of the stocks in China. They all suck. So if they keep making stupid decisions, the market is going to punish them.
Because the good ones, their cash it's like a government coffer.
But the market is a voting mechanism, and the market is voting, and they're voting them down. So capitalism wins again.
Well,
the bums lost. The bums will always lose.
Do we have a meta chart? Because yes, this is almost certainly why Meta is trading up today. Because it's not every day that a company gains entry to the largest the largest population in the world, right? So
yeah, that's big news. Like these big cap tech companies are all dying to figure out a way to do what Meta's doing. They all want to be there, and I think pretty much none of them are there in a material way at this point. So this would be awesome if they could get that done.
And then of course, Apple's there, and then the implication being that this is just the end. This is just the first step. This is the first entry into China for them, and then they'll sell everything and do all
Microsoft
that.
there? No Microsoft.
Probably not. Apple certainly. No Amazon. I don't think Amazon. No Amazon, and
the one thing I know about these Chinese people,
Google.
And no Google for sure.
They only ban the best companies.
So they copy them first. They copy them first. Then when they don't need them anymore, then they ban them.
YouTube has been gone there forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as soon as Tencent made their own, Then they got rid of our
the Tencent that trades in the United States. Can we talk about SoFi CEO? Can we talk about?
Yeah.
Can
Oh,
we
yeah.
talk about this? Because this is not nothing.
I like this. Yeah, I like this stock.
Anthony Noto is one of the few CEO names I actually know off the top of my head. Here we go. Hot corner.
Why?
Where do you know him from?
Yeah, where do you know him?
What was his old job?
Well, I knew another guy named Anthony Noto.
Oh, yeah. I always loved Noto. I thought he did a great job. He at least tried to do a good job.
What?
He was the longtime CFO of Twitter. That's
What is it that you
okay.
like about this stock? This thing sucks.
they're fun. They have solid fundamentals.
Oh my God.
Technicals just need to catch up. No, this one's on my list. I'm watching it.
Dude.
Okay.
Play the bumper.
All
Let's
right.
talk about the inside price.
So hot right now.
Throw up slide 2, Spencer, please.
So, actually, it was a theme on today's list. CEOs and CFOs dual filing. And that's what we saw here in SoFi. Noto buying is nothing new. Noto has probably filed, 34 and 4 since last year, since we started publishing this list. He's always on it. I think he's probably the largest shareholder, I would imagine, at this point. But seeing the CFO come out and buy, I forget his name, pulled up the filing before. It's not the biggest purchase, but it's good to see somebody else, right? Noto's been buying. This is like his company. But seeing the CFO buy as well, I really like it. JC, the way you have this drawn up, I guess is pretty good. I think you can also draw a little support and resistance line at the August and Q1 high there, right? And maybe use that if you want to jump an entry. Yeah, Fonz charts are usually better. So this is the way I would look at it.
All right.
So 8 is that level where it's going to need some time, but I do like this one eventually once the technicals start cooperating. Maybe 850. Yeah. Anything from you guys?
Oh man, this thing's a waste of time.
Spencer, talk to us about your experience as a SoFi customer.
Giant pain in the butt. Very hard to actually get onboarded. I had a lot of problems, but since I've been a customer, I have nothing but good things to say.
Aren't they supposed to be like new finance, new age finance?
Yeah, I mean, for whatever reason, it was probably user error. I had a hard time actually getting an account set up. But after I got over that hurdle, it's been great. They have a really good system where you can like connect all your other accounts and things to SoFi, and you can just see total account activity from all your credit cards, all your other accounts, whatever, just right on SoFi. Full look. So, yeah, I have nothing but good things to say about SoFi, about the app and all that. I will say, however,
how much interest are they going to pay you on your cash? Don't they have pretty high?
I think right now, I'm at 4.6. I think
that's solid. These
maybe,
new age,
maybe 4.8. I don't remember.
These more digitally focused financial companies are paying far higher interest rates than the regionals.
The one thing I'll say is SoFi is obviously it's a digital bank. There are no branches. You never know when you'll need to go to a bank branch. Like there have been times in the last year when I've needed to go to the bank and to get like a cashier's check, for example. And you can't do that on SoFi. So great bank, but if you're gonna do what I did and go there, you should probably keep an account somewhere else, just for those rare occasions where you do need to go to a branch.
Not many things frustrate me more than when my bank tells me I have to go to the bank.
Yeah,
really sucks.
Yep.
Strazza feels like one of these like old people standing in line cashing their checks. Strazza does not like that feeling.
Yeah, okay, mister, I don't wait in lines.
I don't wait in lines, and I've proven that to you.
Zebra Technologies, also CEO and CFO. I like it. Combined for $350,000. And shout out Energy Transfer. Big theme yesterday was oil and gas. Kelsey Warren out here just gobbling up stock.
Dude, serious thing.
Tens of millions of dollars at a time. I mean, he's got the money.
He just bought another 13 million. He bought what? Another something 13, 14 million yesterday.
Wow.
He's a billionaire.
I hope so. He's dropping a lot of loot on the stock.
He's got a lot of money.
Yeah, but think about it. What's the 10% yield? So every $100 million that he has in there, he's getting 10 million a year.
Can you? Yeah,
That's not bad. So you got $1 billion in the stock. You're making $100 million a year just in the dividend.
You know, sometimes I think I'll just take
That's
all
good,
my money.
That's good business right there. I like that math.
I'll take all my money, put it in one of these midstream companies, and just go retire to Vietnam. What do you guys think?
This is not
Live
the
off
first
dividends?
time you threaten that.
I'm not. It's not a threat.
Some of us are going to start hoping it's a promise.
Yeah, I know you'd miss me too much.
I
would have
something like that. What? Anything else stand out? All right. The rest is
That's it.
Yeah.
Where's Ian Coley?
He's here. He's only here.
Why
He's
don't you bring in Mr. Cully?
Bring on our friend.
Talk about
he's
the
waiting,
dollar.
he's waiting backstage
Dollar bills,
patiently.
doll.
What was that song?
Dollar bills, y'all.
It's Wu-Tang Clan. What are you talking about?
No, that was Wu-Tang. But later on, I think it was DMX. Dollar. Like with the Rough Riders, right?
Rough Riders. He's awesome. Rest in peace. DMX. What a guy.
How y'all doing?
Good.
Hey, Ian.
It's like almost like Ian has come down from heaven. You know?
Yeah,
Like,
where are you, sir?
like you're like our angel, like our commodities
Where are
and
you,
futures
buddy?
angel.
I'm in.
Oh, he's in Miami.
I'm in Coral Gables.
Right?
I'm in Coral Gables.
Oh, who's fancy?
Yeah, well, we're here for a wedding. But yeah, I've never been to this part of Miami before.
Where's the wedding?
It's somewhere near the university.
Is that the
Somewhere-
Billboard?
I don't know.
When is it? It's tomorrow?
No, it's this afternoon.
Dude, go to
Friday,
Cafe Violetto. Go to Cafe Violetto.
Yeah.
It's right there in the Gables.
Wait, you're in Coral Gables or Coconut Grove? What did you say?
Coral Gables.
It's
Okay.
right next to Coconut Grove. You know what you should do? You should head over to Our Betters and get yourself a chili dog.
Our betters. Okay.
Yeah, Our Betters, 87th and Bird. Get yourself a chili dog. Get 3.
I like it. Well, last night we ate at Harry's. Does that sound?
Yeah,
familiar?
Havana Harry's.
Havana Harry's. It was good, but I ordered the frita. And
It's not a frita place. You want to
it's
get the
not a frita.
Why
I
do you
was
call
so
me?
disappointed, and I was well. You know,
Yeah,
yesterday
God.
was a really long day. First time the kids flew. It was lots of fun, but you know, it was definitely not Calle Ocho.
No, man.
So I'm trying to get everybody to Calle Ocho tonight. We'll see what happens.
You went to El Rey de las Fritas last time, and now you're going to a restaurant. That place is too nice to have fritas. You got to go to like a hole in the wall place. That place, you want to get a proper meal there. You want to get the vaca frita there.
That's what I got, and it was delicious. I had no complaints. No complaints. What's the place off of Calle Ocho I need to go to?
El Rey de las Fritas.
No, you went there already. No, you want to go to Our Betters. Our Betters hot dogs on 87th and Bird for chili dogs, and you want to go to Cafe Violetto. It's a nice restaurant, but you probably don't want to take the kids. If you can sneak out with the wife, that's where you want to go.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the French Cuban place?
I think it might be an Italian Cuban place.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's an Italian Cuban place, not French. All right, Ian Colley, is there a more important chart in the world than the United States dollars?
Maybe rates, but I think the dollars. I think that's it.
It seems like we're not going to get any resolution before the weekend, huh?
No,
Not at all.
absolutely not. Yesterday was really interesting. I couldn't believe it. I don't know. You know, I wasn't really plugged in, but I was checking my phone, and a big reversal towards the afternoon. I guess Powell dropped the F-bomb.
It was the bond auction, wasn't it?
It was just a weak auction. Not a whole lot.
Rates went up because they had
some sort of hack, no buyers.
They had to raise rates because nobody wanted them at lower rates or something like that, right?
and then they came right back down here today. So I don't know what the big deal is.
Yeah, so a lot of wicks on the individual FX pairs
Like what?
yesterday favoring the dollar. You know, the Aussie, the Kiwi, even, you know, the Euro. And then you saw the dollar do really well against some of those emerging market currencies like the Thai baht, South African rand, Singapore dollar. So, you know, I still, you know, got to give the dollar the benefit of the doubt here. It broke out, path of least resistance, tactically sideways. Structurally, it's higher.
Ian, if I was a Forex trader
Mhm.
and that was my thesis, I'd be looking for currencies to sell against dollars. This Canadian dollar, I'd be looking at my chops right here on the lower bounds of this range. This thing looks ready to just get absolutely crushed. CAD at what, 72?
Yeah. But every time it's down here, it catches a bid over the last year. You're saying this time is different?
That level goes, man. Dollar's breaking back out of that reversal pattern. That seems like a pretty good vehicle. No?
Yeah, it's a great vehicle. We highlighted the dollar CAD trade probably a month ago. Euro's another excellent avenue. The Kiwi and the Aussie dollars, those shorts have been messy. They weren't nearly as clean as I thought they were going to be. We, didn't get those swift downside resolutions that you would expect from a bear flag or bear pennant. And that's because they turn not to be those things. So those bearish patterns. So there's still lots of opportunity though to get along the dollar via the FX.
Why don't you field this question from the chat? Is UUP a close enough proxy for trading dollar index?
You don't want to trade that thing.
I don't know why. That's the thing. Like, I don't know why you would want to trade that thing. And even
doesn't
I guess
move.
It doesn't really move that much. Like, even when you're looking at the Treasury ETFs, I mean, I guess you can go out into the options market and get some juice. But if you're not doing that, then I look at them more as information. Yeah. And I look at UUP as information, not as a trading.
Yeah, you can't trade. They don't move because tiny little moves in the currency markets are huge moves macro wise. So if you're trading an ETF that tracks a currency,
no juice.
It's a poor use of capital.
Correct. Absolutely.
So you really have to go to the futures market. There's no other answer.
FX is a great market.
FX or futures or options or options.
The FX market's extremely liquid, at least in the majors. And it's easy.
But how about for how to trade treasuries? You're saying even TLT, IEF, these aren't great. So then what, you're going to trade bond futures?
They're better now these days, but
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Anything else stand out in FIC? Gold not ready yet.
Gold not ready yet. Crude oil, that's a big level. Those former 2018 highs,
76.
And it's definitely breaking down relative to the CRB index. So it
doesn't look so good.
It doesn't look so good. Energy is just it's losing its leadership for sure. So I'm looking to the not precious metals, but base metals. I'm looking at FCX digging in there. And it's trying. It's not looking too great for FCX.
Better get going, man.
Yeah, right. This is it. This is the time.
This is it. No doubt.
Ian, you can only own one for the next 2-3 quarters, copper or gold.
Uranium.
You have to own one.
Uranium.
You can't say no.
It's not the question. You're dodging the question.
Oh,
copper or gold?
Copper or gold? Gosh, I just don't think gold's ready. It's tough.
Copper.
Yeah, copper. I'd have to say.
Time horizon, Strazza? What's the time horizon?
3 quarters.
3 quarters?
That's a long time for me.
That is a long time. I'm gonna go copper.
I like looking at those assets that have done well since the equity index has peaked earlier this year.
This is the 61.8% retracement of the entire move in copper from the 2020 lows up to the highs. Just an FYI. In the copper gold ratio, excuse me.
Yeah,
you look at the copper gold ratio, that rally that we got.
Yeah, that copper gold ratio has been pretty messy.
Yeah, but look.
Everybody freaked out about these bearish candles yesterday.
Bearish in what?
Follow through. There were a lot of bearish candles yesterday.
What though?
All the indexes engulfed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's the first thing you learn in technical analysis kindergarten? That it's not an engulfing pattern until it confirms the next day.
Great point. So one day's candlestick really means nothing.
Nope.
Even 2 doesn't tell you much, right? You need to know where it's coming from. So you need the candle before and the candle after for follow through.
Weekly charts, y'all. Weekly charts. Saturday mornings, Saturday mornings, anyway, I tweet out facts and people get very upset.
More important point, is that markets are coming right back out here and reversing it. A lot of stronger indexes taking out yesterday's intraday highs already.
Can you throw up slide 2 there, Spencer Israel, so you can see the point that I was trying to make there on the old copper gold ratio?
Oh yeah.
What do you think there, Ian? You like that? That's sexy.
I do.
You're in Miami right now. You know sexy.
I do know sexy. There's a lot of sexy out there on the street, and this is a good, and I like how simple this chart is. Strazza's always giving you a hard time about your charts, man. I don't know that I agree.
He's just jealous. I think he's just jealous.
just not the best.
Ian, don't go to Sexy Fish.
I love Sexy Fish.
Okay.
Don't listen to him. It's a blast.
Go
there during the day and just go to the bathroom.
The food sucks. But if you're interested in taking selfies in the bathroom,
it's so cool, man.
This is the spot. This is the bathroom selfie experience at Sexy Fish.
Don't go at night.
The food sucks. It's super expensive. They have a great wine list. I have no idea why. It's a Japanese joint. Drink sake like a gentleman. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Go there. You don't eat there. Go get a cocktail. Maybe spend $30 on your gin and tonic. The place itself is an experience. They have this giant octopus coming from the ceiling. Just don't eat there.
Don't eat. Okay.
Sexy. And if you have to eat there, keep it simple. Don't get the tasting menu. Just get the steak. Just get, nigiri. Like, keep it simple, because it's one of those places that does too much with the sauces and shit. Can't even taste the damn fish.
No, I'm not into that.
If you're interested in bathroom selfies, though, this is the spot.
Maybe I am. I don't know.
You strike me as somebody who's a bathroom selfie kind of guy.
Is it the hair or the glass? Is it the hair or the glass?
I think the hair, the Rico Suave hair. Yeah.
You look perfect for being in Miami right now.
You do.
You
if you were sweating a little bit more.
I like Miami. I'm gonna have to go more often.
A little cafecito, a cigar, some sweat. You're in.
I like it. I like it.
Can we hit that recess, please?
So I'm going to Sexy Fish. So
just don't eat there. Go. Just don't eat there.
What's the other one, JC? The rooftop one right next to Sexy Fish. They got sushi.
What is it? Right? 1.
It's at the hotel.
1.
Right across from the sushi place, Komodo or whatever, or Gecko.
I think it's called 1.
I don't know. I forget it.
I moved out of Miami 25 years ago. It used to be way cooler back then. Now you got all these people infiltrating the city and ruining it. But back in the day,
you should go back there more. Everybody. Ian's there this weekend. The Shaffers are there next weekend. I got to move to Miami.
Why do you think I don't go that often, Strazza, if you had to guess?
Do you have kids now?
A lot of them.
He's got kids. Kids.
A lot of them.
Kids.
I got an army of kids. All right, Spencer, we got to go. What do you got? Anything good?
No, man, I'm just excited. I got a to-do list that's a mile long. I'm so excited for the weekend. I got to build some furniture. I got to I got to assemble a living room. I got so much things to do. We got to hop. We'll be back, though, at 12:30 for What the Fic with Ian and myself. We're talking oil, maybe a little palladium, maybe, but oil at a key level. That's important. So we'll talk about that. Yeah, I know. All right. See you at What the Fic at 12:30. Thanks to our guest today. Thanks to all of you in the chat. Thanks for hanging out. Hit that like button for us, and we'll see you guys later. Go make some money.
Have a good weekend.
See you guys.
I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off.